this is. Zero martial training. Joe here. This is zero martial training. We are now going to look at a very important aspect, and it is joint focus. Joint focus for me comes from Wing Chun and my other coach. It's really a way to do everything much better, I think. I think this is the most important aspect of my entire system. Really comes from, started with me with the elbow power within Wing Chun. So that's one of our principles. So what elbow power is when you're punching, pulling, striking, whatever it is, you're not focusing on the hands, all right? So the hands, as far as lever, it's farther from the core. So you want to bring that closer to the core so it engages larger muscle groups, all right? So larger muscle groups is the gross body movements, which is more effective in stressful situations, all right? So if I were to think of my punch in my hand, I extend. You see this full extension? This is not something we want. If you've ever been in shadow boxing or anything and you overextend, you're going to hyperextend that elbow. Also, you don't want to put yourself in position here because if your opponent grabs your arm, it's easily broken. So we're going to focus on elbow power. So the way I like to say is that think of the elbow is your hand and the rest of your arm is a sword, all right? So you're holding your sword here and moving. So if I fully extend moving through my elbow, that's as far as it goes, and the arm remains in this bent, structured position, all right? So this structured position can also be found when you're standing, right? It's just that natural bend in the arm. And then you base your elbow comes up into that position, all right? The elbow can come back, the elbow can come forward, all right? So this is the start. So then so another joint here, so when we're here, we also want to have this aligned, which we'll look at more in structures. But the elbow is driven by the shoulder, right? If you move the shoulder, the elbow moves. So you're now adding a layer here. So this increases the power, all right? So this shoulder can be moved by this shoulder. So if I pull back, this would be getting into what we call negative side, all right? So if my obstacle is here, instead of pushing into it, I want to pull where there is no obstacle, which will then naturally create more force this way. So now we got 1, 2, 3 joints moving. Now the shoulder, they're controlled by the hips, all right? So this hip projects this one projects this one. So if I want to super project my shoulder and elbow, I'm going to pull here, push here, pull here, push here. So this creates more of a whip, all right? Now, all of this is nothing without the legs, your footwork, all right? So Wing Chun says power comes from ground. So you need to have a good, strong base, connect to the ground, all right? So the hips are now controlled by the knees, all right? So in Wing Chun, we work through the knees. When we rotate and stuff, which we'll get into, it's driven through the knees, all right? So if I step forward, instead of pushing off the ball of my foot and using my quad, or my calf muscles, I'm going to project with my knee downwards and forwards, right? So then my natural elasticity here will then force me to move. So knee, hip, can go out here. Knee, hip, goes here. So this joint focus allows us to move more fluidly. You're basically putting your mind into each joint, right? The muscles are the connectors, and yes, it's good to build the strength within the muscles, but we don't want the muscles to be flexing through the movement. We want them to remain pliable so you can move quicker. If I punch, I'm not going to squeeze as hard as I can and then punch. I'm going to remain, right? So I'm focusing on the elbow, the shoulder's moving, and it whips out. And then on impact, that's when it comes in. So the muscles will naturally fire as you're moving through these. If you look at it spiritually, each joint is a focus point, which is also a chakra. So there's energies within these, all right? You go through your spine. Each one is another chakra level. You go through your center, there's different chakra levels. These are points of connection, all right? So the more we can focus on these, the more it allows our body to remain fluid until that point of impact. So joint focus with strikes, with moving, with getting a cup out of the cupboard, playing tennis, it does not matter. This joint focus will really help relax the body through all movements, allow it to be more effective, efficient, and much quicker. As you can see, if I'm flexing and then I punch, compared to if I'm just relaxed and I punch. Right? Also, as you're relaxed, you're not using as much energy. So you don't actually need to be in as good a shape to perform this for an extended amount of time compared to someone that is too tense and flexed. And even when you're in adrenaline-induced situations, you're going to naturally lock up. So it's just another level of allowing your body to remain relaxed. And the more you practice this, this is the perfect practice equals perfect. Do it this way. Your extensions will be the proper extension. Your movements will be more fluid and connected all the way down through the ground. Each step through connects you energetically, chakra-based. And yeah, just at first you're going to have to focus on it because it's going to feel weird. But as it grows, that understanding grows within your body, you're teaching your body. Use the mind to teach the body will then do it naturally and it'll feel good doing it. So then that'll be a natural thing you do when your brain shuts off, when you're in a fearful state and stuff like that.